All right. I'm going to do a VOD review of this Baptiste player, Herdier. I think that's how you pronounce it. And this Baptiste player on Overwatch University claims to be 3100. And let's just see how it goes. This is on Rialto, and it's a competitive game. We'll see defense and attack. They said they play Baptiste for the entire game. Okay. And so in the beginning of the game, I think you I hope you don't stand here. So you're going to be playing kind of, you're very brawly, right? And so obviously, you can't just think of positioning as sort of static no matter what's going on. It's always going to be different depending on the team composition you're playing. So in this case, when you play brawl, you definitely do not want to play out in the open over here, especially not in the beginning. It's a place where the fight can evolve to. Certainly not a place where you want the fight to begin. So you don't want to begin the fight over here. And I think your team is correctly assessing that they don't even care to have this high ground. You don't really necessarily need it. You can just brawl it out down here. You still probably want some sort of flank presence, at least just to have some sort of pressure back if anyone's going to go around the building and start playing around this mega, or if they have someone that's going to go onto this high ground or play on this high ground and mess with you down like this way with these angles, or come around here and hit you with these angles. But that doesn't necessarily have to be you. That can be your DPS. It can be like your off tank. Unfortunately, your off tank is Zarya, so it's really going to be kind of on your DPS to do this. It's going to be tough for you. Not playing D.Va, and I really feel like your off tank here should be playing D.Va. No reason they should be playing Zarya here. You do have a Sombra, so Sombra is going to hopefully be able to give you the information you need to watch out for these flanks. Generally speaking, though, since you're on Brawl, this is where you're going to be fighting. This is where you're like the bread and butter of where your fight's going to take place. Because it's kind of just around this corner, and then so you can kind of control the space here, all of this. And if I'm trying to position for Brawl as a Baptiste player here, I'm looking to, I'd be weary of this. I'd be weary of flanks coming from way around. I'd even be weary of like weird things coming through this door and coming in from behind me. So I'm looking to keep an eye on all of that while also being able to support my front line. And so I'm thinking probably garden. I'm thinking like I don't mind like this spot here. I can easily rotate over to this side of it and be over here if I'm seeing threats from this way. If I'm right here, I can keep an eye on my front line, and I can peek into here to tell them like who's coming in from this space over here. Just keep an eye on these lanes. Like there's a lot to keep track of here. And the big risk to playing Brawl on this point, I think, is just the lack of tools to just really have sights on all of that, especially considering you're playing Torb Sombra. Interesting stuff there. Gates open, starting to walk this way a bit. See, now this one, you are kind of susceptible to a flank from this direction. I'd be afraid of this. I would genuinely be afraid of, like, I'm not going to stand here. Hell fucking no am I going to stand here. If anything, I want to be up here and, like, break down this railing here and maybe protect them from up here so I can, like, have at least some high ground if someone tries to surprise me from behind. But I am not going to be on the low ground sitting right here. No way. And so right out the gate, your Torb goes down, right? And so you know that, like, whatever they're playing, even if you're on Brawl, like at this point, it's less than 15 seconds into the game. So even press tab, it just shows question marks over their heroes. You don't actually know what team comp they're playing. You don't know that they're playing Brawl. But since you're down a DPS, it is actually possible for whatever they're playing to just out-brawl you because you're down a person already. And your Sombra is just somewhere in the back. So your Brawl right now is super weak. Even though you're a Brawl comp, and it doesn't matter what they're playing, they can probably out-brawl you. So be ready to give the space up really fast. This seems so not proactive in the slightest. Like, if you are going to commit to just sitting here, right? Wouldn't you want to at least like look, like peek slightly, just slightly look I'm not saying die to Widowmaker, okay? But I'm also not saying sit here and do absolute jack shit, all right? What is this? Not being able to decide where you are. And then, like, watch how long you just stand here. No mouse movement is almost like you're just walking away from the keyboard. Like, what the fuck was that? I'm not trying to be rude or anything. I'm just genuinely like, that was really weird to see. So the Rhine just completely ints in front of you and your team kills him. Great. Then that happens. So you notice the Widow from the beginning. You should have noted that, okay, well, they have a Widow. That's a very common rotation for Widowmaker. She's either going to like stay back here, up here, and just continue to shoot to see what she can get. But like, if no one is going to be on this far competing high ground, like sniping her back, giving her someone to duel, then why is she staying there, right? Because she would love to be here. And I think this is the evolution of pretty much all Widow's position. Like every Widowmaker, if no one's contesting on top of like this thing over here, their position will develop to here. This is what you can expect it. And if you see the first Widowmaker shot kill your Torb, you better bet she's about to be right here. And you need to have your position be ready for that. And this is kind of sort of why I would probably give up space immediately on that first Widow kill, especially since you're on Brawl. I don't think a Brawl stack's going to be able to hold here super well against that, because Widow's just going to come up here. And like, what is your team going to do about this Widowmaker other than maybe the Sombra does something about it? Okay.
Over here. Group up, I have your back.
Okay, so we come back through low ground. Going back. Hold on a second. There's my mouse. There we go. Would not have mind seeing you exit boots up to this high ground up here, right in front of you. Some a little bit of hesitation there, shooting your team to heal them. I'm gonna be honest with you. Some hesitation here. Like, maybe you're trying to be super accurate with your shots, but if I'm shooting these shots here, I'm not letting go of the healing button. All right, I am definitely just holding down right clicks. All right, go back a second. I want you to see. Let me change these to 5-second intervals because it's kind of like stressing me out. All right. You see the crits. You see these crits here, right? Through the walls, you can see that. Why are you not lined up with your crosshair to like arc some shots over there automatically? Like, what's with the waiting and delaying? What's with this? Watch. You look at them, and it's like it takes you a second to just start healing them, but you saw they were crit. Like, I don't know what the hesitation was. Okay, positioning wise, yeah, you're on the low ground. You could have gone to the high ground, but altogether, not bad. The fact that you stopped at this cover here, good, because you don't know at this point where their Widowmaker is unless it's been called out. But I expect that the Widow has developed her position up to here. It looks like she hasn't yet. She might have been being tortured a little. What the fuck is going on over here? Very interesting. She might have been getting some backline pressure from your team's Tracer Sombra. But at some point, Widow's going to develop her position over here, and it's going to be really scary for you to walk any further out than this. You can pretty much live on this high ground up here, though. You don't really have to go much outside of it. You can break down this little railing here and just try to support your team from up here. You could also swing by over here, but be a little bit careful because now you are dueling that Widowmaker. As soon as you start peeking around this corner, just be really careful about that. If she's up there, if she's developed her position up there. Let's see what you do, though. Okay, so it looks like somehow, or some way or another, you know that the Widow is not up there on that high ground. She very well could be. You started to walk further forward now here. And so The benefit of this is that if the enemy team does give up space, you are now within a better effective range to follow up on your team and do some damage with them. Since your fall off range starts at 25 meters and fully falls off at 45, it would be nice to be up here, kind of using these garden pillars as natural cover rather than being up here and running at that full 45-meter distance, being fully fallen off. Here, you're doing a lot more damage. You still get the cover of this, assuming their Widowmaker isn't on that top part up there. Honestly, given the situation, I like your position. I don't mind it here. It's good. Damage. And this is weird, right? I'm gonna show you some more hesitation, right? I'm gonna go to halftime. Look at the hesitation on this. See that? Now watch you reacting to the Earth Shatter. See that? One more time. It's almost like there's a shooting delay. See that? I feel like, is there some uncomfortability with the hero? Or like, is this not your main or something? Because I'm definitely seeing like some hesitation, and when I see hesitation, the first thing you can think of on like what you can do to improve is probably to just play the hero a lot more. I mean, like a lot more. Just like start playing this hero like exclusively for a while and just see kind of what it does for you, or go into a death match, pick the hero, and just like play around with it in situations that just aren't in comp if you don't want to like ruin your SR or something like that. But it just seems to me like that if you were a Bat main, there is no hesitation. I mean, you are all M1 instantly. And there I'm just seeing some hesitation. I saw some hesitation earlier with the healing when you were coming back to your team. Okay. And so you're hiding behind this like this garden post thing again. And I will say these posts here are phenomenal. They're really, really good to be playing around. So good that you are playing around with those. I am expecting now the enemy team to not all come from main. Right? We're in diamond now here on this game. So don't expect the enemy team to default down main. I'm expecting to see like some flanking over here. I'm expecting to see some shit coming in from up here, from this door, and from this door. All right, so things are going to be happening. Don't be standing still. Keep your eyes open. All right, keep your eyes open here. Little hop, little look. There's an Ash up top there. I'm gonna deal with. Okay. Now this, I don't mind. I don't mind this. And actually, heads up. This is a good heads up play. What I believe you recognize here is that this cart is moving underneath the sort of balcony. All right. Now the enemy team has the ability to utilize this, and your team doesn't. Your team doesn't really have like any high ground presence at all. So what we can do as a brawl team is to stand underneath the balcony and stall cart. And if we all stand underneath the cart, underneath the balcony, then the enemy team has to contest us somehow, at some point, some way. And it's on them to figure out how, because like if they're all up top, that's fine. They're going to have to start dropping. And if only some of them drop, they're taking little mini like 6v2s or 6v3s. It's really, if they want a 6v6, if they want like a real fight to happen, then they have to wait for their cooldowns to rotate through. And what they end up doing and how they end up like defeating you underneath this balcony is that the Ashe being up here will coach gun over to this side. All right. And now she will throw a dynamite at you from this direction. And if she can play from within here, especially with the Mercy pocket, she's up in here firing down at you, then the enemy team, they got you by the balls. There you probably just lose. So that's how they're going to beat you, but it's on them to figure that out and actually execute it. And if they don't, there's a lot of opportunity for them to misplay and for you to capitalize on that and punish them. And you coming underneath the balcony here, that's good to see. That shows me that you kind of understand that. Are you going to look up? Bro, you're going to look up? If there's a diva bomb, I'm gonna at least look. Like, what the heck? You understand? Like, you get bubble. Eva bomb is over the balcony. You're under the balcony. It explodes, and while it's exploding, you throw a lamp for nothing. And you got beat. Holy shit, beat. Bubble, you had the balcony blocking you, and you threw down the lamp. That bomb killed no one but won the fight. Holy shit. You can definitely kill this diva. Oh, you barely get out of the range of that earth shatter, and you drop a window in return. This could be really good. I don't know if it's gonna work or not. Your Ryan is in. Tracer's taking care of the Ash on the angle that I was warning you about earlier. This is a good opportunity to take that high ground I was talking to you about before. I mean, just going up here and on top of this balcony. Exhibits up here. You got little pillars for cover. I mean, you don't have to even, like, you don't have to do any pushing in here if you don't really want to. You can see this Genji over here. Maybe help your Sombra with that. Genji and Sombra kill each other. That's funny. Okay. Oh, don't miss these. Oh, no. Okay. She's trying to go to the top. He's failing her super jump. Yep. So this is a lot of downtime. In this downtime, I sure hope you're pressing tab. You're kind of thinking about where they're coming from. You're at least watching the angles. I wouldn't mind seeing you peek this right here, this little angle. This is a good Zenyatta angle to be aware of. Zen, Ana, really good to be looking down like this long pathway. And this BAP, you don't necessarily have to shoot if you don't want to, but just quick peek. Come back. And then, like, just be peeking around here and looking around here. This gives you a lot of information. Anyone who's going to take this far flank on the right will very likely reveal themselves if you are just looking from this direction right here. You'll very likely see that flank happen, and you can call it out to your team and be ready for it. You can come right here and be ready for it. Just keep that in mind. You don't have to be sitting around in garden doing nothing, watching your Zarya fail at a super jump. You are hiding behind this cover. That's fine, I guess. Maybe I would call it like the second thing you could be doing, but I kind of prefer scouting a little bit more. Do a little bit more scouting. Did you really have to get hit by that fire strike? Okay, you dodged the Helix rocket at least. Go back a second. Hold on. Okay, so I think you're holding behind cover while you were reloading there. So I suppose that's fun. Good using covers here. Good. Okay, I'm starting to see a little bit more variance in the healing shoot. Peeked out a little bit there. You got a good angle on you. Soldier all the way up there now. Oh shit, where am I? How did my camera move over to there? What the fuck? Yeah, this is gonna be a tough retake for you. Careful. You're just dead, dude. Yeah. That's just wide open. That's wide open. Let's go back a second. Coming out of spawn here. When you're coming out of spawn, watch where your team is. Figure out what your team's gonna do. What do you think is gonna happen when you walk out of here, right? Just your team's like trying to regroup. You got 3 people alive right now, and this bridge is horrendous for any team to walk past when the other team controls the other side, because it's just so much space. There's a lot of open space here. This is a massive burden for the enemy team to get across here while you control these high grounds, and it's also a big burden for your team to get across here to recontest if they control these high grounds. And so just be like super mindful of that. You do not have to be the first one to touch. Like when I'm watching this, right, and you can see like in the overlay, if I put this overlay on, like you walking across this bridge right now, like right now makes an implication that like you're going to be the one who touches cart. What's your plan, right? Are you going to say that Sombra is going to hold up here in this high ground while you touch cart 1v6 and die, and then your team straggles in after you? Because if that's your plan, you have to assume that it's a winning plan, and it's not. Obviously, it's not a winning plan. Obviously, frontlining Baptiste is not a winning plan. And so just look at your team, and if it means you lose this point, at least you didn't feed, right? And so no reason to feed if you don't have to. Yeah, and so this is just, that is just really, really feeding. You could have waited. So your team was able to contest. If you decided in the beginning of that fight that like maybe I shouldn't walk into that open space, and instead just exit boots up to here and wait for your team, you can like peek out and like maybe shoot this soldier if he's sitting there, and then you've got cover and he can't do anything about it. And then you can still just wait for your team and participate in this point of the fight where here at some point maybe your team does need a lamp at some point. And it'd be nice if you were there to be with them for it. Although you might have this. Maybe not. I'm not sure. Yeah, no, they don't have it. 2 shots. No, you're going to die again, dude. So go back a second. See, your Zarya died there. You do get a couple shots here. You see now your Tracer's down. Look at the kill feed right now. My question is, do you need to go any further? Do you need to walk across this bridge, or do you want to just walk back in here? Right? Because do you think your Ryan's going to survive? I'm looking at the situation, looking at the kill feed, and that Ryan is dead meat. I would not venture further into the open space, right? One good way to die in Overwatch, right, is identify what this open space is and walk into the middle of it. If you walk into the middle of open space, right, you will die. 100% you are dead. Absolutely dead. And so do not walk in open space here. This, I mean, same soldier, same position. I would just be holding high ground up here. Just start getting a foothold up here. If the enemy team, and they're doing this right, by the way, enemy team, if they get stalled out over here and they have to like walk across this while your team has full control of this high ground, it is oppressive. It is hard to do. It's really hard to break that defense. However, if they win an easy fight over here and then start pushing and you guys are respawning, then the first thing they're going to do is take control of this whole thing up here. Because if they have all this space, it's so much easier for them to get past this slug of a space here. All right. And so they're doing the right thing right now, which is just take as much space of this as possible. And this is a common thing on all escort maps, street spaces, which is street space is usually just the second phase. Right. All right. And so we're coming out here. We're expecting that they're going to have control of that entire high ground. Maybe they don't take the high ground, but I'm assuming that like as you play in the higher ranks, as you play against people that you know they're going to be doing the right thing, the thing that they should be doing, is they're going to be holding that high ground. There's no reason not to. This is crazy. Their Ash is really far forward, and your front line didn't even see it. She gets a pick on you. That sucks. I'll say that is really far forward. Now your Zarya, I wish she was able to like see that. I'm just kind of wondering where Zarya was in this situation. Okay, so she was up here not paying attention. Yeah, she didn't really pay attention. That was a really aggressive play, and I'd say a really strong play from your Ash, from the enemy Ash player there. Like Ash, I would not expect to be playing up that far. Actually, I was only expecting Ash to be over here. The fact that she was willing to play right here and she came for like the perfect time. She had that perfect timing there, not to like to clue in the rest of the team. Let's see. I want to see this. Did she do this on purpose? She didn't. She just went in for this really, really aggressively. And your team being super split right here, off tank didn't realize that this DPS over here with the pocket mercy was like hard controlling and threatening this side lane. Didn't even notice. She had absolutely no idea. And so she gets the value. All right. And from here, winning this fight is rudimentary now that the blue team doesn't have Baptiste. The Widow's going to take the duel here, and she's like, I don't even need to duel the Widow. That's ridiculous. We just have to win this fight over here, which is now a 6v4 because the Widow is out of position. All right. Not like, again, not much you could have done there. That's just I think your team being a little more proactive with controlling the angles would have been kind of nice there to see. Because again, I did not expect Ash to push that far up. That was actually pretty unexpected. Now that you have this though, okay, so that's really weird. What the hell? You just got a big shatter? They didn't seem favored there. Okay, nice shatter. Holy cow. Okay. Well, that was kind of a pop-off. Nice. All right, that's why you actually won that. Big play coming from your Reinhardt. I didn't expect you to win that. But okay, now that you have won it, you're going to want to control high ground. Your whole team is going to kind of want to go up there because that's kind of the start of how you make this oppressive for the enemy team, right? Again, this big open space, you can't really take advantage of it unless you control this high ground up here. If you're going to just give this to them for free and not really like put a lot of spam and poke pressure from this high ground here, you're not really doing it right. Where is your Widow right now? What's going on? Here we go. Widow. Yeah, okay. Well, this is fine, but your Widow needs to be up there, really. What the fuck is this? She needs to be up top. Okay, so you do go up top. That's good. Although this is interesting. Okay, so she needs healing. You need to be able to, I guess you want to be able to heal your team down here. You don't want to be up here because if you're up here too aggressively, you can't really see your Reinhardt. So I don't mind where you are right now. That's fine. You can kind of play this position and play a brawl over here like this. Your team puts very little spam poke pressure on the enemy team there. What is going on? So Ryan Lucio is coming up the stairs, so they decided to go full on high ground. He drops off the high ground. Okay, so now we're just backed up in this little room here. Oh, this is not ideal. There's a Ryan to your right. That's a long... Okay, this is weird to me. All right, let's go back 10 seconds. So we're healing in here. I hear that Reinhardt very clearly to the right. There's just no shot that I'm not going to look at it. It's so weird to me that you don't turn your camera to the right to just look at the Ryan, see what's coming. Like, how far away is he? Is a big deal. Is he gonna pin towards you? Does he look like? That's a big deal. Is he throwing a fire strike at you? That's a big deal. And all these have audio cues, but you just heard a swing from your right. You know he's up here. He's right next to you, right? He is right next to you. And so it's just weird to hear that and not see your camera even look at him. You don't even give a shit. It's interesting. Okay, so he's not gonna encroach on you any further. Here there's a soldier up above you, isn't there? He's over here. Okay, yeah. And so I'd be looking at that. These audio cues, you don't seem to be reacting to them. And I don't know if it's because you just don't care or if it's because your volume is low or you're not wearing headphones or something or another. I guess nice. That's the second time you've dodged a shatter. That's good. There's potentially a window opportunity in there. Good damage, good damage. Don't walk this close to him. I could see that if you were charging exo boots and your plan was to, as soon as he started to try to swing on you, you could just jump up to the window up top. No, you just walk next to him. I mean, yeah, it was the Zarya that did the thing, right? Did he get a swing on you? I guess he didn't. It was just a damage boosted Zarya that killed you. In this moment though, 100% I'd be charging exo boots. The only retreat path is up through the window. Yeah, because you can't walk down main there. If I go back a little bit further too, by the way.
Need healing.
You're down really low here. You really want to get a shift in if possible. Is it a Bob? Oh, Bob just went straight into the water. I was going to say, like, that Bob is really, really scary. Yeah, lots of window opportunities here. I feel like just throwing a window forward, it makes a lot of space for your team, and it kind of just buys them time. Could potentially turn it around. That was a big ante. Okay. Careful how much you're walking out here. Yeah, your front line's down. Don't walk too far out here. I mean, I guess you're just gonna die on cart or something. Surprised you lived through that, honestly. Okay, don't let him die here. Anytime you want to throw this window down, like, this is perfect opportunity. And now you wouldn't do it because now you committed 2 ults. They committed 1, 2. They're on 2 ults actually. 3 ults from them. Now you could window. There's a window. Dang. Yeah, they got a little bit too much value. They did use 3 ults from that one. Used a bunch. Wait, no, you didn't. I think you just started switching heroes. You're on the Zen and on the Hog now. Okay, go back a second. Alright, remember that you don't necessarily have to walk the cart here. You can just stand up here on the balcony. I consider it's not a big balcony, right? But it's kind of a balcony. You can stand next to this cover here and be really close to this. And peek, like, you can peek around it. You don't have to walk any further than that though. Like, you didn't have to get into this grab. These anti-nades are kind of rough on you. This whole time spent on point. I mean, like, you just don't have to be on point, right? You're Baptiste. You want to see the battlefield. You want to have a big survey of the battlefield. Your Ryan can be on point. You don't have to be.
Over here. Group up with me.
30 seconds remaining.
Sorry for the yawning. I'm tired.
Score 0-3. Switching sides.
All right. So one thing I've been noticing, I guess, throughout the front of this process, for at least on defense, is like kind of a lack of understanding of where to be standing or what good positions you could have on high ground. At least from what I've seen missed opportunities for you to take this high ground. I've seen missed opportunities to take this high ground, missed opportunities to jump up to here, missed opportunity when you were over here to just jump up into this window. And when you were on point over here, you were just sitting on point rather than kind of off point slightly, maybe at like an off angle or doing something else. I haven't seen a lot of ambition to develop your position somewhere that would be as sort of like an off angle, be somewhat aggressive in any sense. I have only seen like okay positioning, kind of defensive, a lot of hesitation, not a lot of willingness to use exo boots to get somewhere. Excuse me. And yeah, it's just kind of my impressions of the first round.
5, 4,
See if anything changes in the second.
No dying
One.
on my watch.
attackers incoming.
Okay.
Escort the payload.
Team goes upper right.
Good job, team. Let's keep it going.
You have that Ash up there on that top part high ground. You're gonna crouch as you walk this. Okay, I don't mind that. Watch that Ash. Don't peek that Ash. Ash got your Zen, unfortunate. Ash still up there. Yeah, just be careful. He's dead, okay. You need to get up space now. Good, okay. Now you exit boots up to the high ground. I like to see that. Give him space because you have to. This is dangerous. Alright. Shooting his back with the healing nade. I mean, if they have any sense, they'll know where you are. If they don't. Holy shit, I'm tired. Okay, so we got away with it. It was a really weird position.
Amplification matrix ready.
Oh, dead. Oh, shit. No, no, no.
Amplification matrix
Okay, so we kind of took a duel up here, and we got hit by the dynamite.
all look like you needed some
No reason to walk off of this. Just walking out. I mean, okay, so at some point I see you need the pressure to like be able to heal your team here. If you're gonna do this, I'd almost like charge an exo boots so that when you like walk off the edge here, then you can exo boots if you need to back up to the top if you don't know what's down there. Shit, and there's a Cassidy coming up for you too. That's rough. Yeah, it sucks that you went into that room. Unfortunately, Ryan was just there. And then he also, they used Bob there to clutch that. Ultimately, your team just got
amplification matrix
positionally destroyed there. From every single angle, they were like
amplification matrix ready.
from two angles above them. Two separate angles above them. And from the front. Too much angles going on for them to deal with. Your team's on the Hanzo now, which should help alleviate some of the pressure from the Ash. A lot of reluctance on that window. Oh, that's unfortunate. Go back here. I'm gonna watch this. Like, is there an opportunity to take this at a slower pace? The team's pushing in with speed. Yeah. Okay. So going back here, look at everything they have on this like upper right over here. Now I know it's your whole team doing this. I get that. It's your whole team kind of at fault here, but what the enemy team has going for them right now, if you take a look at like kind of what's going on, you have Ryan kind of coming back to the fight. You need the cart to go this way, but the enemy team has a lot of pressure up here. And so if you watch this fight, it kind of looks like your team has a strong desire to say, fuck all this shit. We want to go this way, right? We want to push this way. But in fact, in order to get to here, you need to first control this, right? It's like a phase 1 and then phase 2. And more like, honestly, if I'm being honest, it's phase 1 is this, and then phase 2 is this, then phase 3 is this, and then phase 4 is push the cart. You literally, part of pushing this cart here is control this, then make sure you control this, then make sure you control this, and then it's safe to push cart. And make sure that when you're taking space, or know to take space in phases, because if you don't take space in phases, I'm going to show you exactly what happens, okay? See how your team is now pushing on the low ground here. There's very little effort made to contest what's going on the left. There's a lot going on the left. And without controlling that, I mean, you are surrounded. Like, what's any Brawl team expected to do against this? right? If you're just gonna walk it down main and let the enemy team have all these high grounds, what I mean, like I don't know what else your team expects, honestly. It's a failure on your team to recognize that they need to take the space and phases. They need to contest this upper left. Like that has to happen. Honestly, my opinion, I do not like Reinhardt on this map. I don't like Brawl on this map. And this is like a large reason why, especially in the front here. Spam and taking angles is a lot more favorable in the front of this one. Just mainly because there are so many high grounds to choose from. The high ground, like when there's a lot of high grounds from a bunch of different angles, you want flexibility in your team to take those angles and utilize them constantly. And you do that by doing kind of what the enemy team is doing. In this case, playing an Ashe Mercy. And their comp looks somewhat similar to your comp, except that with the Ashe Mercy, instead of the sort of like Lucio in Hanzo, Sombra kind of thing. So like the Lucio in a Brawl stack adds speed so they can move around faster. But on this, I would definitely favor the sustain of Mercy. Mercy is like this, she adds sort of like inevitability to the team. She adds sustain and a constant pressure. And so does Ashe, right? Ashe is another one where she, with her like 50, I think she's got 15 ammo right now. She can sit there and shoot, and she can keep shooting, and she doesn't have to reload for a little while, right? Whereas like Cass only has like 6 bullets, right? But if you're thinking like 15 bullets, 15 rounds, and then they do extra damage, and if she's ever pressured, she can get healed up immediately. Like, yeah, you're giving up the speed boost, but look what you're getting in return, right? Like this control, she can coach gun to any high ground, and she can apply huge pressure, especially like with the dynamite as well, like huge pressure from any angle, which demands a response. And what is your team going to do to respond to it? What are they going to send their Lucio at them so that your team no longer has the speed boost to enable them to like push Brawl and walk different people? Are you going to jump up and actually take the duel? Because I haven't seen you doing that very often. What's she going to do? Nothing. Maybe switch to Diva so she can do something. Hanzo might try to do something because he can go up there so he can actually do something. But she's got a Mercy pocket, whereas he doesn't. So when it comes to hitting shots, yeah, if he hits the headshot, great. If he doesn't, and we're both a bunch of like body shot Bensons, well, it's not going to work, right? Because she's got the Mercy. And so this duel, if you just consider body shots, she's just going to win the duel between her and Hanzo. Sure, she can do something about it, but it's not necessarily the fastest thing. And the team has to play slower as a result when they play with Sombra. So there's that as well. Okay, so for some reason, okay, and it's because the DPS died last fight. They haven't not been able to like walk back. We get another push before they're able to actually hold those dangerous angles that we're afraid of. So you're on top of the high ground now. That's good. We get an EMP and it's going to hit 3 people. We should be able to win this fight. They use the lamp. We can kill the Zarya. Great. Some big kills here. Now we want to hold these high grounds, right? So the things I'd be afraid of is I would not want the enemy team having any control of any of this up here. That we need to clear this first. Again, this is kind of one of those take space and phases thing, right? We're going to go here to here. In order to do this safely, I want to control all of this high ground. All right. So it's like phase 1. All right. Sorry. Phase 1, phase 2, and then we can control phase 3 by default. Okay. All right. Right. Yeah. No, go up there and kill him. Literally just go up to that guy and kill him. You can also just, I guess you can push cart here. We got 3 on cart. Go up top if you want to here. Good damage. Feel like you've maybe gotten a little more into the groove of it now that you've been in the game now for 12 and a half or almost 13 minutes. I do almost feel like I'm seeing slightly less hesitation. Like your actions per minute and your thinking and decision making just seems in that last fight to be much improved over the first round, actually.
Amplification matrix. Amplification out.
30 seconds remaining.
All right, so you got an amp matrix here. We kind of want to use this. I wouldn't want to use it too early. Okay, so let's say you're walking here and you just put a matrix down right here, right? Well, the enemy team can see that and just play cover, and they might even be willing to give you some space. But the thing is, the time that it takes, like, right, let's just plan this out, right? Time it takes. You put like a window here to say, you know what? I want all this space. This whole thing is now super dangerous for anyone to stand in. And I mean, hell, I mean, if you put it here, honestly, it's like actually all of this. All of this is super dangerous, including that. All of this is super dangerous to stand in. Is kind of the statement you're making, but it only lasts for like, what is it, 8 seconds or 10 seconds or something like that. So you put it up here, and the enemy team, like this Ashe, for example, she's just going to coach gun up here and go slip around the corner, and she'll stand right here. This guy will just stand behind cart. Rhine might be in trouble. You might be able to kill that Rhine. Mercy is going to go probably find a DPS, maybe even go up here. But all together, it looks to me like if you put it up too early, they can just kite it and then take a fight afterwards. And it might like buy you some space, but who knows if you're actually going to be able to fully utilize it. Biggest value I can see out of putting a window right here, right now, is that there's a potential that it could just straight up kill the Rhine. If you can do enough damage, because he's gonna have his shield, he's gonna have pocket. We'll see. If you go on the high ground, it could be better. If you wait till the mid fight, it could be even better. Okay, this is really annoying on the ball. Oh no, he's gonna body block you. That's unfortunate. Yeah. So
10 seconds remaining.
you weren't able to use your window in that fight at all. That sucks. And this is kind of the yikes about running Zarya over Diva. Like a Diva would have been able to help you in the back of that. Like, what's your Zarya doing right here? She's underneath here. It like she sees this. She sees the ball on top of you, and she knows that ball is there, right? But she can't do anything about it. Look at all this opportunity she has to do something about it. If you can convince your Zarya to swap to Diva, ever, you should do it. Try to convince your Zarya that Diva is just better. Because this is one of those situations where it's so clear. Like, this is a moment where you don't die if she's on Diva, and if you are on, or if she's on Zarya, you do die. Because she can't go up there and contest that ball. And that's really it. Now, in the end, I'm gonna say that you showed a little bit less hesitation. It wasn't as bad in the end. Sucks that you died to the Ashe there, but again, like, why is your team allowing an Ashe to just sit right up here and shoot and kill you? Like, how is it, for example, that your team just doesn't control the space yet? And it's mainly just your team just doesn't take the angle and like push her off. They're not doing enough to declare enough space, and she's able to just stand up here. That really sucks. I don't know if you can convince your team to switch, but if you can convince that Diva or Zarya to switch to Diva there, I think it goes a lot better for you. I think that you don't die there. I think that Diva could follow up with your support and push this Ashe off this high ground, and then you can make a much bigger headway into this first point on attack. Okay, and if you can convince your team to not play a Reinhardt comp on Rialto, like, at all, that'd be huge. If you can convince them to play like a Risa based comps or ball comp, you'll be in the money, because that's kind of what Rialto thrives on, is ball comp and Risa comps. All kinds of Risa comp. You could do double shield, you could do pulled pork if you wanted to. You could do a Risa Diva. It's just better. Like Ryan just doesn't do as much, and Reese just puts the pressure. It's a lot of long angles. Reese can shoot from far away. It's just the way to go.
10 seconds remaining.
Not much. I mean, outside of that, not much more you could have done. But I would focus a lot more on the first part of this, on your defensive side. I would focus a lot on,
Ready for battle.
excuse me, from the beginning. Just look at these angles slightly more. Feel the confidence in that you can scout and mark these angles and just be more active. Try not to be so inactive in the game. Try not to be hesitant like you were in sort of the beginning. Maybe during some of those moments you were just pressing tab and you weren't really looking otherwise. Have the state of mind, I think, their presence of mind to like come up to these high grounds and shoot from high grounds. Don't be afraid to do so. And don't be afraid to like even take an angle to try to make some space for yourself every now and then. I'm not saying do it all the time. All right. There are some people out there in the world where they hear that supports are supposed to do damage too, and suddenly they're just constantly giga flanking all the time. You don't have to be that guy. All right. You flank sometimes. Sometimes take a flank and do a thing. If you make too much of a habit out of it, they're going to start punishing you for it. And they're going to start recognizing that you're kind of like out of position a lot. Just be careful as you try and do that. Use this angle more to like a scout. Make sure you're jumping in up here and realizing that this exists. This is important. This is a really good place to be holding. Recognize the fact that if you stand in the middle of open space, that you're going to die. And that also goes for over here too. If you happen to find yourself caught out in the middle of open space, you are probably going to die. Beware of that and try not to stand in open space yourself. Try not to get yourself baited into open space. Try to warn your team if you feel like they're getting baited into open space, and try to consider the win condition to bait the enemy team into open space if you can. Over here, like I said, I think that this is just super, super, super duper duper important. Your team should have had a better foothold on it. Kind of just let the team have it. Back here, I think there was a time when your team was like playing around this way and no one thought to like look up here. This is like a power position on this point. Both teams want to control like this position. Doesn't matter which team you're on. Whoever controls this is probably in the lead. At least if the game's in the neutral. So that's important. I don't feel like your team cared enough about it. A lot can be done there. A lot can be done and a lot can be defended from up there. Yeah, coming back here again, there was that moment where you could have exo boosted up here and potentially lived. Yeah, I think there's a lot more to learn from the defense than from the attack. I think the attack, your team just didn't execute super well. Weren't paying attention to these angles up here, weren't respecting this. Your team walked down straight main without clearing this or this first, and just got webbed out. And there was too much of a redundancy of angles, and they just couldn't survive through it. And so, yeah, some of that happening. And I think that happens more when you're frustrated. You mentioned in the Reddit post that your team was kind of frustrated a little bit. Like they were talking about, I don't know, you said your Sombra and your other DPS were fighting over one another. Someone was blaming somebody else. Yeah, when chat gets toxic, then you see stupid shit like that where you just like, I don't know, you don't realize that these things need to be cleared. And you just walk down main and you die, and then you just gives you another opportunity to blame someone for your death. So I don't know, people get really really petty. Anyway, I hope that overall you found some sort of information here that can help you, and I guess I hope it helped, and have a wonderful day.